continue with our daily Gemara. We are on Kuf Aleph 109a in Sanhedrin, of course. And we continue with our discussion on the people of Sedom. They are one of the groups of people mentioned in the Mishnah as having lost their share in the world to come. And we discussed some of their sins yesterday, and some more detail comes today. But first, the Gemara interrupts with an interesting story and tells us like this. Rabbi Yosi in Tzipori taught about the scheme that the people of Sedom would do in order to ascertain where rich people held their treasuries. And as you mentioned yesterday, the way they would do that was by asking wealthy people, can you please hold on to my perfume? And then in the nighttime, they would smell where their perfume is, and that would be able to identify where the treasuries are, and then they would dig tunnels to steal and loot at nighttime. So Rabbi Yosi explained this, taught this little scheme in class, in his school, in his study hall. And what happened was, there were 300 tunnels dug in Tzipori that night. All the thieves of Tzipori got an idea from the people of Sedom and did it. Also, now the owners of these people who were looted have become Tzadile, and they came to complain to Rabbi Yosi of Tzipori. You caused people to steal from us. Amulei. So he said that Amulei. They told him, Yahivas Urche Laganvi. You gave a good path. You gave a good idea. You gave counsel to thieves. Amalahu. So Rabbi Yosi said to them, Mi'abadana to Asu Ganvi. Am I supposed to know that thieves are going to be listening to my class and taking ideas? I'm teaching Torah. I can't be held liable for the misbehaviors of others because they're misappropriating Torah knowledge. Now, apropos to the discussion of Rabbi Yosi of being in Tzipori, the Gemara relates the following incidents. When Rabbi Yosi passed away, Shifi Mars b'di Tzipori Dama. The gutters, the river, the area of Tzipori miraculously filled with blood in mourning his death. The city itself mourned his death, and this indicating to us how amazing Rabbi Yosi was, and that miraculously the city itself mourned the death of Rabbi Yosi. The Gemara now gets back to the people of Sedom and their behavior. The Gemara says as follows: Ammi, those in Sedom would say, the Islay Chatora, one who owns one ox, Miri Chadjema, he shall graze, take all the oxen in town to graze for one day. The Leslie, one who does not have an ox, Liri Treyema, is penalized that he has to watch everybody's oxen for 2 days. It's like mafia type tactics where they would bully people into their services by making it worse for them if they don't take the service. So if you have an ox, okay, you get 1 day where you have to take care of all the oxen in town. You don't have any ox, okay, you have to take care of everything for 2 days. Sahu Yasma, there was once a orphan, Barar Masla, son of a widow, and Havaloi Tori Lemida. He was given oxen to graze as part of this racket. Ozil, so he went, Shaklinu, he took the oxen, Vekatlinu, he killed all the oxen. Amalahu, he told the owners of the oxen, the Islay Torah, whoever had an ox, Nishkal Chad Mishka, go take one hide and make your profit if you can. The Leslay Torah, one who never had an ox, Nishkal Trey, take two. Trey Mishri, take two hide. Amalei, they said to him, my high, what's this all about? Someone who has an ox takes one, and someone who doesn't have an ox takes two. Amalahu, so he told them, Saiftina, the end of the judgment, is the same way you began the system. Just like when you guys started the system. Dina, your law was, the Islay Torah, the one who has an ox, Mari Chajema, watches it for 1 day. The Leslie, one who doesn't. The Leslie Torah, one who doesn't have an ox, Mari Treyeme is penalized and has to watch the oxen for 2 days. So Av Saiftina, the same thing's true at the end. So if they're taking the loss and the hit for not having oxen, they get the benefit for no oxen. The Islay Chatora, and therefore one who had one ox, Lishkal Chad, will take one hide. The Leslay Torah, one who didn't have an ox, Lishkal Trey, will take 2 oxen. So it's like a clever way of indicating to them that things go both ways. You can't make people lose out and penalize people for not having oxen and not expect that they don't get the gains later. And he played this on them in that way. We're continuing on Kuftes Amud Beis 109b. The Gemara continues in a similar kind of racket. The Aver b'mivra, one who used the ferry to cross the river, Neisiv Chad Zuzah, pays 1 zuz. It's a toll, very nice. But the Lo Aver b'mivra, if you found some other way to get across the river without taking the ferry, Neisiv today, you got to give 2. Again, this racket penalizing people, forcing them to take their services. Because if you don't take our service, you get paid, you get fined double. And the Gemara continues, the Havalei Dara Livni, similar kinds of stuff. One who had a row of livni is like a stone or a brick to be, and the person was cementing it. Asi kol chad v'chad, each person would come, shakal chad, and only take 1. And Amar lei, each person would say, ano chad the shakli, I only took 1. It's not such a big deal. What loss did I do from you? I only took 1. But then 100 people coming and taking 1, and the guy has 0 left. But each person would claim, no big deal, I only took 1. What's the big deal? It's not bothering me. I only took 1. But when you have 100 claimants like that, then it's impossible to retrieve any of your lost items, and you lose everything. And each one shrugging their shoulders and saying, I only took 1. Similarly, someone who would put out onions or garlic to dry, every person would arrive. Shakal chad would only take 1 onion, 1 garlic. And he would say, I only took 1 garlic. Leave me alone. How much did I steal from you? I only took 1 garlic. It's not such a big of a deal. There were 4 judges in the city of Sedom. One person's name was Shikrai, which means liar. The other person's name was Shikrurai, habitual liar. Zaifi, forgerer, Umatlidina, and perverter of judgment. So, the Gemara reads it as if this was their names, but it's kind of a pun in that their names themselves convey their corruption. Liar, habitual liar, forgerer, and corrupter or perverter of law, of judgment. And this is the kind of judgments they would render. Someone who hit his friend's wife, and cause her to miscarry. Amrile, the judgment would be as follows. Okay, so this guy caused your wife to miscarry. Bring that guy here and let him engage in a relation with this woman. Dinavra, that she should become pregnant. We're restoring your loss. You lost a baby. We'll give you another one. Let this guy come and engage with this wife, so that she becomes pregnant again. Of course, this is a massive corruption of judgment. That she should come pregnant from her. The pasuk leila udna techamra, one who would cut off the ear of a friend's donkey, the chavre of his friend, donkey of his friend. Unrelated, they would judge. Their judgment would be havu nila, give the donkey to the person who cut it off the ear, ad kadacha, until it grows back. Obviously, a foolish judgment. Okay, you want to get your donkey, you lost your donkey's ear, give the donkey to the guy who took off the ear, and let him make him responsible to make it grow back. The padale lechavra, one who would cause a friend or a fellow person bruise him to the point that he would bleed. Amilei, they would say, instead of telling the person who got, of course, the regular judgment would be to penalize the person who caused the damage, but here they would say the reverse. Havle igra, the person who got hit and his blood spilled, pay the guy who hit you to shakalach dama because he drew blood. Right? There was a healing process in those days, is bloodletting, to allow the blood to it was a procedure they would do. The Gemara implies that they used to do it quite often, actually. And they would, the Gemara elsewhere discusses the health benefits and the way in which a person should prepare oneself, and afterwards how a person should behave afterwards to maintain health. But they would let blood stream out of the person's body, with a doctor's supervision, of course, and the person would relax so that the body replenished blood, and the new blood was healthier than the blood that came out, and that was a healing method. It was a way of maintaining health. So the judge would say, "Oh, look, this guy hit you and caused you to bleed. Pay him. He did you a favor. He did you a service. He made you lose your blood." And they issued a judgment that seems to be like they increased the original judgment made before about one who crosses the river with a ferry or crosses it on foot. They said, the Avar b'mivra, one who would cross the river using the ferry, Yoav Arba, got to pay a toll of 4 zuz. Okay, it's more expensive than it was before. Before it was 1 zuz, or maybe it's referring to a different river, I don't know. It's 4 zuz for this toll for using the ferry. But Avar b'maya, one who walked on foot through the water, Yoav Tamni zuzi, had to pay 8 zuz, double, penalizing someone for not using their service. Again, this kind of racket, this kind of tactic. Zimna Chada, one day, Asahu Koivis, there was this person who arrived, who was his job was Koivis is someone who washes clothing, like a launderer. Ikloi Lahasam, and he arrived in town. Amruleh, they said to him, Habdallah Duzi, pay up 4 zuz, the toll for using the ferry. Amrlahu, so he said to them, oh, I don't need to pay the ferry because I'm of Maya Avri, I crossed through the water myself, on foot, or I swam through the water. Amruleh, they told him, Imkain, if so, have tamna, give us 8 zuz. The Avarta Maya, because he went through the water. La Yohiv, he wouldn't pay. Ridiculous. I specifically avoided the toll road because I didn't want to pay the toll. I avoided using your service because I don't want to pay. I'm taking the water, now you're making me pay double. Ridiculous. I'm not paying. Padyu, they hit him. They beat him. He went to the judges saying these people beat me up for some ridiculous claim that I need to pay. Amruleh, the judges said, well, Havlei Igra, first of all, give the person who hit you money to shakalach dama because he drew your blood and did you a service by making you healthier. And Betam Nizoze, and give 8 the Avarta b'maya because you walked through the water. So the judges penalized them double, making him pay the fine, the toll, the supposed toll for walking the water. And likewise, commanded him to pay for the person who hit him in the service, quote unquote, of bloodletting. And the Gemara tells us a very clever story of Eliezer, the servant of Avraham, how he dealt with this. Eliezer, the servant of Avraham, Isrami Hassam. It happened one day that he arrived in town. And Padyu, they hit him. Doesn't say why. Doesn't say whether he failed some rule. They just hit him for whatever reason. They beat him. Also, they Dina. So they came in front of the judges. Amalei, the judge says, rendering their classic ruling, Havla pay the person who hit you money, the shakalach dama, because he drew blood for you. So the judges rendered their classic judgment and telling Eliezer that he has to pay the person who hit him. So Eliezer was a little more clever than that. Shakal Glola, he took out, Rashi says, either a stick or a stone, and Padyuhu Ihu Ladaina, and he went and beat the judges. And Amar, the judges said, what are you doing to us? What are you beating us up for? Amar Leis, Eliezer said to them, Igra de Nafik li minach, the money that you want to take from me, have niyala, give it to the guy who hit me. If it's Zuzi Didiya, my money, because the kaima will stay exactly where it is. In other words, they were claiming that he owes the person who hit him money because he did him a service in letting blood. So he did the service to them, let their blood, and then he said, well, look, you owe me money because I was letting blood, okay, and I owe this guy money because he let my blood, so skip me in the middle. You, the judges, instead of paying me for the service, pay the guy who did my service, and we're all scot clean. A clever way of getting out of the judgment. Havalahu, poor Raita, they had these beds upon which they would allow their guests to rest, to sleep. If their guests were too long for the bed, gaizale, they would cut him down. Kigutz, when he was too short, matchinle, they would stretch him out. Just sadistic torture. Eliezer Eved Avraham, Eliezer, the servant of Avraham, seems like he went to Sedom as well. It's another incident when he went to Sedom, either in the same visit or a different visit. Iklu Hassan, he arrived there. Amruleh, they told him, Kum Gania Puraya, come lie down on the bed. Amrulain, he told them, Nedara Nadra, a vow I have taken. Min Yom Maisis Ima, from the day my mother passed, Loigina Puraya, that I won't lie on any bed. So he's not going to lie on the bed. He avoided lying on the bed. When a poor man would arrive in town, in Sedom, each person would give him a dinar. They're being nice. They're giving him charity. The cost of Shmei, and each person would write their name on the dinar. But they wouldn't give him or sell him any bread. So if you have a mayas, when you would die of hunger, and each person would come back and shuckle the day and take back their dinner that they had identified and wrote their name on. Sadistic, terrible type of behavior. This was the consensus, the decision that the people of Sedom made. Anybody who were to invite a friend to an occasion, to a wedding, they would remove his garment. That was their punishment for inviting someone to your party. Take off the garment. There was this one occasion, and Eliezer, the servant of Avraham, arrived at the occasion. No one would give him any food, because the rule is we don't share. When you wanted to feast, when it came time you wanted to eat something, Eliezer arrived, and would sit at the end behind everybody. They would ask him, who invited you here? It's against the rules. He would say, Lahud Yosef, to the person who was sitting next to him, you invited me. Omar, the person who was accused of inviting Eliezer, would say to himself, maybe they will hear, other people will hear, that I invited him. And he'll take away my garment. So Shakal Glima, he would grab his garment. Hahud Yosef Gabev, the person sitting next to him, would grab his garment. V'rohet lebron, run outside. And this is what Eliezer would do with each individual there. He would say, you invited me. The person would grab his garment, run out. You invited me. The person would grab his garment and run out. Until everybody left. And then Eliezer was able to enjoy of the feast. The Gemara concludes the following terrible incident. There was this young woman. She would take out bread, lania, to feed the poor, bechitzva, in a pail, like in a kind of, I guess a water pitcher or something like that. Igloi milsa. The matter was known to the people that there is a kind person in our midst. And shipui dafsha, they smeared her and covered her in honey. V'ukmal igar shura, and they put her onto the wall. Asa ziburi, and bees came v'achlua and ate up the honey and essentially killed her and ate her. Terrible story. And this is the meaning of the pasuk, says the Gemara. And God says, Zaka Sedom v'Amora, the cry of Sedom v'Amora, Kirabba, is great. So the word great here is the word Rabba. And Rav says, Al Iske Riva. Rabba is an allusion. The word Rabba, which means great, is an allusion to another translation, the word Riva, which is a young woman. And it's to say the crying of Sedom v'Amora was with regard to a young woman who suffered and tortured because of her positive behavior. So this is the Gemara in its literal sense. And tomorrow, God willing, we get to the other group of, the next group of people who lost their share in the world to come, the spies. And we'll discuss a little bit about them. Obviously, there are some more deeper spiritual meanings to all of this, and what some lessons we can learn besides the obvious of not allowing greed to blind us to it takes us down a path of terrible behavior, as we said yesterday, staying honest and not even deterrent for a little bit. But obviously all these stories have deeper spiritual significance, and sometimes they even seem repetitive. Like, for example, the story of the rule that whoever had bricks, one person would take at a time, and then each one would say, I only took one, and the same thing repeated with garlic and onions. Why the repetition? I'm sure there's some significance there. And likewise with all of these different stories, especially as Eliezer comes in, who is the servant of Avraham, obviously, and therefore symbolizes the good side. and he's using these skillful tactics to kind of use their negativity against them themselves, also certainly has a lesson for us in terms of our internal battle between our own good and bad, and that there has to be some way of using the bad against itself, perhaps. The floor is open for anybody who wants to think about what this might mean and what the lessons we can learn from it. Have a wonderful day, and we hope everybody is safe and well and healthy.